I want to start by asking you a simple question. How many of you had something sweet today? Maybe it was a spoonful of sugar in your morning coffee, a granola bar on the way to work, or even a glass of orange juice with breakfast. If you did, you're not alone. The average American consumes about 77 grams of added sugar every single day. That's roughly 17 teaspoons. To put that in perspective, the American Heart Association recommends no more than 6 teaspoons for women and 9 teaspoons for men per day. We are consuming nearly double or even triple what experts say is safe. Today, I want to persuade you to make one of the most impactful health decisions of your life. Cut sugar out of your diet. Now, I'm not talking about the natural sugars found in whole foods and vegetables. I'm talking about the added sugars that sneak into nearly everything we eat, from pasta sauce to salad dressing, from yogurt to bread. These added sugars are silently damaging our bodies, our minds, and our quality of life. And I believe that once you understand the full picture, you will want to make a change. Let me start with what sugar is actually doing to your body. And if you'll look at my first slide here, you can see a simple diagram of how sugar is metabolized. When you consume added sugar, particularly fructose, your liver has to process it. In small amounts, this is manageable. But when you're flooding your system with 77 grams a day, your liver becomes overwhelmed. It starts converting that excess fructose into fat. This process is called lipogenesis, and over time it leads to a condition known as non-alcoholic fatty liver disease. According to a 2018 study published in the Journal of Hepatology, non-alcoholic fatty liver disease now affects roughly 25% of the global population. That is 1 in 4 people walking around with a liver that is being damaged by what they eat. But it doesn't stop at your liver. As you can see on this next slide, excessive sugar consumption is directly linked to heart disease, type 2 diabetes, obesity, and even certain types of cancer. A landmark study published in JAMA Internal Medicine in 2014 found that people who consumed 25% more or more of their daily calories from added sugar were more than twice as likely to die from cardiovascular disease compared to those who consumed less than 10%. Heart disease is the number 1 killer in the United States, and sugar is one of the primary fuels driving it. Now, some of you might be thinking, I don't eat that much sugar. I'm pretty healthy. And I understand that reaction, but here's the thing. This is really important. Sugar is hidden everywhere. Let me show you this next slide, which lists some common foods and their sugar content. A single serving of ragu pasta sauce contains about 7 grams of added sugar. A Yoplait original yogurt has 19 grams. A bottle of vitamin water, which markets itself as a healthy beverage, packs 27 grams of added sugar. Even a seemingly innocent wheat bread can have 3 to 4 grams per slice. When you add all of this up throughout the day, you realize that you could be consuming massive amounts of sugar without ever touching a candy bar or a slice of cake. Let me transition now to what sugar does to your brain, because this is where it gets really alarming. Research from Connecticut College in 2013 found that Oreo cookies activated more neurons in the pleasure centers of rats' brains than cocaine did. Now, I want to be careful here. I'm not saying that sugar is identical to cocaine, but the neurological mechanisms are strikingly similar. Sugar triggers a release of dopamine in the brain, the same neurotransmitter associated with pleasure and reward. Over time, your brain builds a tolerance, and you need more and more sugar to achieve the same feeling of satisfaction. This is the cycle of addiction, and millions of people are trapped in it without even realizing it. Beyond addiction, sugar also affects your cognitive function. A study from UCLA published in 2012 demonstrated that a diet high in fructose impaired memory and learning ability in rats. The researchers concluded that what you eat affects how you think. If you've never experienced brain fog, difficulty concentrating, or afternoon energy crashes, your sugar intake could very well be the culprit. So now let's talk about the good news, because this is where I want to give you hope. When you cut sugar from your diet, the benefits are remarkable, and they happen faster than you might expect. Let me direct your attention to this next slide, which shows a timeline of what happens when you eliminate added sugar from your diet. Within the first 24 to 48 hours, your blood sugar levels begin to stabilize. You may experience some withdrawal symptoms like headache or irritability, and that's actually a sign of how dependent your body has become. Within the first week, most people report better sleep, more stable energy levels, and reduced cravings. By 2 weeks, you'll likely notice clearer skin, less bloating, and improved mental clarity. Within a month, many people experience significant weight loss, lower blood pressure, and improved cholesterol levels. A study conducted by Dr. Robert Lustig at UC San Francisco put a group of children on a sugar-restricted diet for just 9 days. After those 9 days, their cholesterol levels improved, their blood pressure dropped, and their liver function tests showed marked improvement. 9 days, everyone. That is all that it took. Now, I know what some of you are thinking. This sounds impossible. Sugar isn't everything. How am I supposed to avoid it? And you're right to raise that concern. Cutting sugar is challenging, especially in a food environment that has been engineered to make us crave it. But it is absolutely doable, and I want to offer you some practical steps. First, start reading labels. As we saw earlier, sugar hides in unexpected places, and it goes by dozens of different names: high fructose corn syrup, dextrose, maltose, sucrose, agave nectar, and many more. If you can identify it, you can avoid it. So that is the first step. Second, replace processed foods with whole foods. When you eat an apple, you're getting natural sugar paired with fiber, vitamins, and water, which slows absorption and prevents the insulin spike that added sugars cause. That's why whole foods are going to be your best defense. Think foods that don't have ingredient lists. Third, plan your meals. One of the biggest reasons people reach for sugary snacks is convenience. When you have healthy meals and snacks prepared ahead, you remove the temptation. Any blocks that you can remove will only make it easier. Fourth, and this is the one that I want to emphasize the most, give yourself grace. You don't have to be perfect on day one. Cutting sugar is a process, and sometimes a long process. If you slip up, don't abandon the effort. Get back on track with your next meal. Let me wrap up with this final slide, which summarizes the key points we've discussed today. Sugar is damaging your liver, your heart, and your brain. It's hidden in foods you'd never suspect. It creates a pattern of dependency that mirrors substance addiction. But the solution is within reach. By making a conscious decision to eliminate added sugar, you can dramatically improve your health, your energy, your mental clarity, and your overall quality of life in just a matter of weeks. I'm not asking you to live a life without joy or flavor. I'm asking you to reclaim your health from an ingredient that the food industry has weaponized against you. You deserve to feel energized. You deserve to think clearly. You deserve to live a long and healthy life. And one of the most powerful steps you can take toward all of that is to simply put down the sugar. Thank you so much for your time today. I hope you'll take this information to heart and consider making this change. Your body and your mind will thank you for it.